Hi, I'm here with Beau Blyth, the developer of Samurai Gunn. What can you tell us about Samurai Gunn?
Well, Samurai Gunn is a 2 to 4 local multiplayer action game where you play as a samurai with a gun, and I guess with these basic inputs, more complex things emerge after you've played with it for a while.
What tools did you use to make it?
This was made in GameMaker 7. I know Studio's across for me, but I've still used like the older versions of GameMaker. But the full version, I'm working with a friend of mine, Roger Hicks, and we're porting it to another language so that we can release it on multiple platforms because we feel like it's best with a controller.
Yeah, the visual style is really like reminiscent of older games that I would have played at birthday parties. What made you go with the retro style?
Well, for practical reasons, it's easy to do animation in. You don't have to make things look really nice, like as in like really clean lines and everything. So it's just because I'm the only person like working on this or was. It's quick to do, and I really like how with pixels it's almost like a blur filter where it's like you get these jagged lines but everything looks like it meshes together, and that's what I like about it, where it's like you still use your imagination and you're filling in the blanks, whereas if this was hyper realistic, for one it would be way too violent. I wouldn't want to play it because it would gross me out, but because it's like little chunky pixels, it's just funny. So I think.
What can you tell us about being a solo developer? That must be crazy. Like, how do you manage your life and being a solo developer at the same time?
Well, my friend Rami Ismail has a really good quote. It's like, if you want to make games, you make games, and then you don't make games. Because if you just make games, you will go crazy. That's not part of his quote, but it's also true. And yeah, you have to remember to seek influence in other places. You can't just look at games because then you start referencing things. You can't, you start talking about your game in means of other games, and really it's about going to the roots, or that's what I think is important, because like I always wanted to make games for the NES, and as I grew older I realized this was impossible, and it kind of made me really scared and sad. And then I got into indie games and was like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one who feels this way, and it feels nice.
That's really cool. So if I was a developer getting into it for the first time, what advice would you tell me, and like specifically like what software and what style should I get into if I'm just starting out?
Oh, what do you mean by style?
Just like, what type of game do you think is good for a solo developer to take on as a first time out?
Oh, well, platformers. There's not enough of those. No, maybe a shmup. Okay. Those are great. I say just try to make your favorite game. Like, I made a game called Action Fist a while ago. It was basically like Gunstar Heroes because I loved Gunstar Heroes, and I made it into a full game, and it's pretty glitchy, but it's finished, and like I'm proud of it, and I learned a lot. But that's what makes you improve, and I feel like now, even like just recently, I'm like, okay, now I want to start expanding my ideas and looking in like different places, and not just being like, oh, I want to make a game like this because I like that game and want to design levels. But I think it's a great way to start, because I actually, when I didn't know what a game designer was, I wanted to be a level designer, and I was like, oh, that would be really great, even if I was working on Smurfs or something.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much, Beau, and good luck tonight.
Oh, well, thank you.
Have a good one.